Essential gear for day hiking. There are quite a lot of things you could bring with you when you're hiking, but some you should not bring, and some are absolutely essential. So I'm going to start with the obvious, which is food and water. Water, either you can opt for a large plastic bottle, or whatever bottle, or you can opt for a water bladder. There's a lot of contention about whether the bladder or the bottle is better. Some people find that the bottle is too unwieldy and gets in the way. Others don't like carrying a giant water bladder on their back. It's really up to the person's preferences. If you don't know what you prefer, obviously you can try both and figure it out. But the point is to make sure you have a significant amount of fresh water, drinkable water on you at all times. Especially if you're going on very long day hikes, several hours, several miles, you're going to get dehydrated pretty easily, especially if it is very hot and sunny out. You're just going to sweat out all your moisture and you're going to get dehydrated very quickly. So, again, fresh water always is a must. In addition to that, it's a good idea to bring some sort of water filter or water purifier, or preferably both. Water filters could be like the LifeStraw, basically anything that's really dense enough to filter out harmful, anything harmful in the water, along with purification tablets, which will continuously break down harmful viruses and bacteria that could make you seriously ill when you're out hiking. Then, boiling water is also a good option if you also have that, but the filter and the purification tablets are really pretty much what you need to bring with you, in addition to your little reservoir of fresh water. Then you have food. So how much food you bring with you kind of depends on kind of how far you're going, what kind of hiking you plan on doing. If you're going for a leisurely little 1 or 2 mile hike, obviously you don't need to bring a bunch of food with you. But if you're hiking, say 8 miles, 10 miles, really intense type of hiking, you want to bring a decent amount of protein-rich, calorie-dense foods. There are a lot of protein bars these days that are designed for hikers, so they have all the nutrition they need when they're hiking to keep their energy up and things like that. Don't just get a random cereal bar because they're really packed with sugar and don't have a lot of nutritional value. It's best to do a little bit of research and choose some that have the protein, they have the carbohydrates, they have the vitamins, the minerals, things like that. So you have energy as you walk. Now, besides protein bars and things like that, you can also bring granola, you can bring beef jerky, you can bring dried fruits, that sort of thing. Basically anything that's not going to spoil being unrefrigerated. So you could even bring some, like an apple with you, or a sandwich with you. But yeah, just make sure you don't bring anything that might spoil within a few hours. And having just that extra bit of food is important in case you get delayed on the trail for some reason. Maybe you hurt your ankle or something, you're out longer than you wanted to be out. Having that extra bit of food with you is always a good sort of safety net to have. Then, of course, you want to have some other important things to go with you, specifically a first aid kit of some kind, having an antiseptic, having some bandages, things like that. That's pretty important if you cut yourself on a rock, or if you fall, or basically you get any kind of injury. A first aid kit will be able to help you in one way or another, and that is important for preventing infection and making sure you can get back to civilization safely. And a first aid kit doesn't have to be a massive box that you bring with you. Just get a little one with all the essentials, and you shouldn't have any trouble. It's really just kind of just a what-if scenario if you use it. But it is nice to just have with you, even if you're going on a short hike. Then you also have to consider the other little kind of trinkets to bring with you. If you plan on having a little fire, a little bonfire, of course bring some matches or a ferro rod or a lighter or something like that. And also make sure you're actually allowed to start a bonfire wherever you go. Now obviously if you're day hiking, you're probably not going to need a tent, you're just going to go back to wherever you came from. But it's always a good idea to bring maybe a tarp for shelter in case you do have to take shelter for some reason. Maybe it starts downpouring when you least expected it, or something like that. But having these little kind of bonus items in your backpack is always a good idea, because you never really know what's going to happen, especially if you're going on a very long day hike. You always want to be over-prepared rather than under-prepared. So just keep that in mind. But that is pretty much all the tips that I have for kind of essential gear to bring with you on day hikes. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, of course, you can leave a like or maybe subscribe. And I make a few videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.